Hey, me?
Okay, so we're live.
Hey, can you
Okay,
hear me?
cool.
Are you able
Yes.
to hear me? Okay, okay. This is bizarre. Like it.
Yeah, I'm not too versed with going live, so I'm
This
glad
is
I was
my
able
first.
to help.
Oh my God! Like I was trying to figure it out, and then I was like, "Oh my God!" So okay, we're here. Yay! Thank you so much for your patience. I know we're running behind. I appreciate you for being patient with me. Um,
Oh yeah,
so
no
well,
problem. You're cutting out a bit, so
okay.
hopefully that'll.
That'll stop. I tried to set up my microphone, but I was having problems with that. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, next time we do this, it won't be like this. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am B.AKApella. This is Chat with B, Season 2, Episode 4. And I have my very special guest today, Johanna Marie. And I will be doing an interview with her here in just a moment. Just wanted to go over her intro here, a little bio. Give me one second. You guys had all this organized, and then like my audio was like, no. So I'm really sorry. You guys know I'm not like this at all. So give me one second. Oh my God. Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. Alrighty. Come on. Everything's being so slow. Okay, here we go. Okay. Johanna Marie is a recording artist based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Her music is very moody and emotional. Her sound is rock and hip hop infused over trap beats. Formerly known as J Lokes, she definitely caught people's attention with her aggressive rap and catchy punchlines. Now she has changed the name and has softened her sound. You can still hear strong lyricism and catchy melodies. Outside of music, she runs an indie uh, cosmetic brand called Sad and Bougie Cosmetics, popular for their big lashes and sad girl aesthetic. Uh, Everyone, I want you to give a warm welcome to our special guest today, Johanna Marie. Thank you again for agreeing to do this interview with me, girl. I appreciate it.
Oh no, thank you. Like I was really excited to do it. I don't get to do stuff like this a lot, so it was fun.
Well, hopefully this will be the first of many for you. I got on the Johanna Marie train a little late. I was kind of hearing your name in our mutual circles, and I'm like, I got to
Yeah.
get her on the show. Just hearing, your sound and all of that, I was really intrigued, and so I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
so we'll go ahead and get started with the interview. You guys, if you're looking right now or you see, invite whomever, share it, post it. Of course, I'll be reposting it and all that. But if you're watching right now, invite people to watch the live, you guys. This is our first time on Instagram, so we're trying to see if, the reach is a little better on Instagram as opposed to Facebook. We'll go back and forth, whatever we got to do for the show. Okay, here we go. Okay, so my first question is, are you originally from Las Vegas or you just based out of here now?
So yes, I am actually born and raised. Like I've never left Las Vegas. Like I'm one of those people that were born in Vegas that never left yet. So yes, I am born and raised.
Okay, cool, cool. That's awesome. And how long have you been doing music?
So I've always I guess I've always been like I've always had an interest in music. Like I've always written songs. Like I've always done that like as a kid. Um but I didn't start like officially doing music until I was like 15. That's when I
Okay.
started rapping. I was in like this little like a rap group with my friends at like when we were like teenagers, and like we recorded in my garage and stuff. Like that was when I initially started. And then like I took like a long break. I went back to school and stuff and was just trying to figure out life. And then when I was about 19, I started up again, and that's when I started to get like the local shows, and like that's when I got introduced to like the Las Vegas like music scene and like the hip hop scene, and I started meeting like other local artists and stuff.
Okay, cool, cool. Funny, I actually did a little rapping back in the day too in high school. It's so funny how, like, I guess it was just kind of the time. It was just,
Right.
back then it was really cool, just trying to get into that. And I mean, I've always loved lyrical content, and so it was fun getting into those circles. But I've always been a singer at heart, so I I tend to gravitate more towards that. But I do love hip hop too, and my husband's hip hop artist, so yeah, we're all hip hop over here as well. So,
Right.
um,
I love
so
that though.
now in your bio, you did give some really good descriptive words for your music for people who never heard it before. In your own words, like if someone you were to meet and you were just passing by wanted to, I guess, put your music in some kind of box, or which I know we all hate that as artists, right? We don't like
Right.
to be put in boxes. We're like, I don't want to be put in a box. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm whatever. Um,
Right.
but as far as I know, you described your music as it's catchy, it can be moody and emotional, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm actually really big on music that makes you feel something. For someone who's just meeting you or just introducing themselves to your music, in your own words, how would you describe your sound?
So that's one thing that I kind of struggle with because it's like, I mean, I know that there are other people who make music that are like similar to me. I just know that they're not necessarily like mainstream artists. It's like more so underground. And like there really isn't like, I guess there hasn't really been like a set genre that like people like call it. Like some people call it emo trap, or some people
Mhm.
call it R&B, or some people will say that it's like alternative, or some people will just say like, oh, it's hip hop, you know. But like, I guess when I explain it to people, I kind of just use the word emo trap, because I feel like that's the best way to explain it, because like, like it is a more alternative sound. And like, some of the beats that I use, like their guitar samples, like you can tell like where the influence is coming from, but you can still hear like that hip hop influence as well, and even that R&B influence as well. Because I've gotten like, even though like I wouldn't compare my music to like Kalani or something, like I've had other people say like, oh, like it's really like emotional, like
Mhm.
Kalani, or like somebody who does R&B, even though I wouldn't put myself in that box at all. That's just what people have. That's where people tend to put me more nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely, I think your sound is is a breath of fresh air. Actually,
Oh,
it's
thank you.
a genre that may not have been even tapped into yet. So it's exciting to see that grow, and you grow as an artist, and that type of music continue to get some traction here. So that's exciting. Um, who would you say your musical influences are, living or dead? Um, it could be anybody that maybe inspires your sound. And I know it can be different things for different songs, maybe, or different people for different concepts. But who would you say is like a big musical inspiration for you?
So, my biggest musical inspiration, I want to say now, that kind of like was the reason for like my shift in sound, was Little Peep, because his sound was like a breath of fresh air to me, and I related to it so much because growing up, I listened to a lot of alternative music as well as hip hop, but I kind of
Mhm.
always gravitated more towards like bands and stuff. So like
Mhm.
hearing his music, it was just like it was like so dope to me to like hear somebody
Mhm.
doing that. So he was like a really big inspiration as far as like the music I make now. Um but like other musical inspirations, I want to say like definitely like a lot of it's a lot more like bands like Blink
Mhm.
182, and like all of like those pop punk bands, like Sum 41, and like the bands that I grew up with, like those are a big influence. And then also some of like I also get like randomly inspired too, by like artists that are like popular at the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So because even
Absolutely.
sometimes like I find myself listening to people like Ariana Grande.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a totally different genre, but like she inspires me too, because like how she's like really deep in her feels, and like how I like the way she expresses like herself and like her storytelling.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good point as well. We may have main inspirational, artists that inspire us, but other artists that we may not listen to all the time, or ones we just now catch on to, can inspire us as well. I think it's a journey, so that's definitely
Yeah.
for sure. And every day you're like, who's that? Like I'm always hearing
Right.
somebody new, which I love about music. So tell me a little bit about your cosmetic line, Sad and Bougie.
Okay, so I started Sad and Bougie actually like September of last year.
Okay.
And I kind of just started it as a trial thing, you know, like I just wanted to like I was interested in selling lashes and
Mhm.
I wanted to see how it would go. So like I sat there and I was like thinking of names and stuff, and like um I was like, the song Bad and Bougie was in my head that day. And I was like, well, I can't call it that because I'll probably get sued. But I was like,
Right.
but I always say sad girl this or sad girl that or like sad girl Stila. Like that's just kind of my aesthetic. So I was
Hmm.
like, oh, so sad and bougie. I mean that kind of like that sounds catchy.
Hmm.
So I just started it off as a trial thing, and then people just really like ended up really liking it. Like I ended up getting like regular clientele, and yeah, and then I decided to start selling like lip glosses and like glitters, and so yeah, so we're like an indie cosmetics brand. We sell like mink eyelashes, mostly like big dramatic styles, but like recently I've started selling the more like smaller ones because you know there are girls out there that don't want to wear like colossal lashes, but we are known for like our colossal lashes, and especially the our hell girl style and our sad girl style, all those styles that are like kind of the big and short ones.
Awesome. You know, I've actually taken a look at a lot of your cosmetics that you offer. Um, for someone who's like I guess novice, because I'm very minimalist, but I'm interested in it. You know, I just don't know a whole lot about it.
Right.
I guess it would be probably beneficial for someone like me to start with maybe I guess your smaller like lashes then. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to apply them. I'm so clueless, but I'm so eager to learn. I mean, I think it's a beautiful like glamorous look. I'm definitely open to that, especially like when we perform and you know and we do photos
Yes.
and things like that. I want to look a little more put together. So it's definitely something I've always been interested in learning more about. So it's nice that you know you have that line. I'll definitely be looking at that and you know getting with you on some of that for sure. Do you
Yes,
do like,
yes, definitely let me know.
do you do things like custom looks and stuff for women? Like do they reach out to you for that for different like photo shoots or what they got going on?
I have been asked like in the past, and like when the opportunity arises and if I'm able to, like I love to help people with their makeup, especially I love the women who are like how you minimalist, and
Mhm.
the girls who don't really do their makeup or have never touched eyelashes. Like I love when those women they message me and they're like, I've never done eyelashes before, what do you prefer, how do I put them on, how do I clean them? And I always kind of give step by step instructions, and like I really try to like check in with my clientele and like talk to them and give them tips and tricks about their makeup and their eyelashes. And definitely if the opportunity arises, like if I can help with the makeup look, like I will do it, but I just don't offer that service like to the public, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, so I'm going to oh, and before we get into that, as far as your interest in cosmetics, when would you say you became interested in it, or you decided? I know you said you decided last year to kind of dabble in it as like a little trial run, but when did you notice your interest in cosmetics starting to develop?
So, I want to say like in middle school is when I got really, really interested in cosmetics. I was bullied in middle school, like really, really bad. So I was always looking for a way to like change my image because I thought like, oh, maybe if I do this, like maybe they won't bully me, whatever. But in that, I ended up finding, a passion for like doing my makeup, and I would watch like the YouTube tutorials, and I would go to Walmart and like just stock up on
Mhm.
anything I could get my hands on
Yeah.
in middle school, and just I would just play with different looks. I would do rainbow eyeshadow, whatever. I was also a scene kid, So that's like, you know, the teased hair and the crazy makeup and the skinny jeans. So that was a big influence on my, like, you know, my makeup choices and being into cosmetics, because, you know, seeing kids, they're always doing crazy stuff with their hair and crazy makeup and stuff. So
Mhm.
that's when my interest was like kind of, you know, it started.
For sure. Awesome. So we're gonna play a little word association game. I'm gonna give you a word or a phrase, and you're gonna say the first thing that comes to mind. We'll maybe do 3 or 4 words like this, okay? See how it goes. The first word or phrase I wanted to ask you about is beauty is only skin deep. Since you're into cosmetics, I wanted to know what your take on the phrase beauty is skin deep, uh, what that means to you.
Beauty is skin deep. So what that means to me is like, even though I sell cosmetics, um beauty is more than just, you know, your face or even your body. Like, it's what's in your soul, you know what I mean? It's what's deep within. That's what that means to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think as women too, it's important that we remind the younger girls of that sometimes because there is a lot of pressure to look
Mhm.
picture perfect all the time, you know, and we were teenagers before. We remember how cruel kids used to be and even now, you step out and you have
Yes.
one hair out of place and it's everywhere. So I mean, it can
Yes, and nowadays, like, and nowadays too, like, I see a lot more. And I mean, there's nothing, I don't have anything against it, but nowadays you see a lot of, you know, people pushing like more plastic surgery or, you know, more like, you know, beauty and enhancement things. And, you know, I mean, that's fine and dandy, but, you know, when young girls see that, they think like, oh, I have to like look that way. And it's like, they absolutely don't. Like, it should totally be a choice. But I think sometimes, you know, those ads and those things that are out there, especially on social media, you know, it's not really good for the impressionable young mind.
Absolutely. That's a good point that you made because I remember when I was growing up, because I know I have some years on you, but when I was growing up, I feel like it was always constantly in our face, like in the magazines and TV. But now there's so much more inundation with that. Like they have the internet, they have social media influencers, they
Hmm.
have all of this, they're being surrounded by these images. And yes, those women who choose to do it, it's beautiful and it's their choice. But I do think that it is a personal choice and that you don't have to do that in order to be beautiful. And I think that's the message that kind of gets lost in all of that because these
Yeah.
influencers are so popular and highly regarded that the girls that are looking up to them are like, I have to look like that, especially I'd say in the last 10 years or so, like the when I was younger, I used to get teased for like my big lips and
Mm.
things like that,
Same.
growing up. And now it's like everyone has big lips, right?
Yeah, it's
So it's like,
crazy.
whoa, which is, it's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, maybe you should be teaching that it's okay to maybe not have the big plump lips all the time or not have the big rotund butt walking down the
Yeah.
street which and then like you said it's a choice, so I mean I'm perfectly fine with people doing what they feel is best for themselves, but I think it is kind of pushing that on the younger girls, and I'm hoping that with artists like you and myself, and we can continue to push the narrative that it's okay to look like and
Right.
if you want to do something, some enhancement, that's completely your choice, but don't feel like you have to in order to be
Right.
viewed as
Yeah, because
beautiful.
I mean, I struggle with my own body issues. I mean, just
Absolutely. We all
scrolling
do.
down Instagram, like, it
Mhm.
makes you sometimes feel insecure because you see all these beautiful women, and, you know, like, it's fine, you know, it's their choice to look like that, and like, if they feel beautiful like that, they should do that. But, you know, like you said, like, it does, it definitely does take a toll on, like, not only young people but even like older women too,
Yeah,
when they're scrolling
absolutely.
down their timeline and they see all of these like picture perfect bodies, you know. And it's like, you can tell, you know, a lot of these women had surgery too, but
Hmm.
it's
For
just,
sure.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think the journey is different depending on the age group sometimes because me being in my 30s, um, we'll see a girl in their 20s or someone in their 20s, and I'm just like, wow, that's, and you kind of get nostalgia. Like, I remember when I was that age, and I remember how important
Yeah.
it was, and to be viewed a certain way and things like that. As you get a little older, you still want to be viewed, like as beautiful and all of that, and like you still got it, kind of thing. But it becomes, I think, I've tapped in more into myself as I've gotten older, so it doesn't matter to me as much. But there are days where it's like, oh man, I don't feel, pretty. I don't feel glamorous. I don't feel this and that. And so what do you
Yes,
do in those days?
exactly.
And I think as a woman, that's kind of our own individual journey to make. We have to remind ourselves that we're beautiful just the way we are. And if we want to be flashy one day, hey, if one day you want to wear sweats, do that too.
Right.
You have to
That's
be
true.
okay
It
with
really
both
is
sides
your
of
own
that, I
individual
think.
journey.
Absolutely. So, you know what? That was actually a really good conversation on beauty of skin deep. So I'm not going to give you too many more on that because we can go on and on, right? Um, I wanted to ask you, as far as the music and the cosmetics and the things that you have going on right now, what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
I think my biggest why is my grandmother. She is an immigrant and she came here from Amsterdam at 19 years old. And or no, she was married at 19 years old, and then she came here in her 20s. And when she first came here, she didn't really know like how to write a check. She didn't know how to do anything. She didn't know how to speak the language. And she like came here, she like got a job as like I think like a change girl in the casino, and she worked
Mhm.
her way up from a change girl to a dealer to a pit boss, and she was one of the first women on the floor. So like
Awesome.
her journey is like what really inspires me to like really keep going forward, because she's been through a lot in her life, and like she never let any of that like stop her from achieving the things that she wanted to.
That's an amazing story. I think about that too in my life, like the strong women in my family, and you do wanna pay homage to them, like so that's an amazing story. And gosh, the casino or the gaming industry is so can be really just hectic, especially out here.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome how she was able to rise like that. It's pretty cool. So I know we talked a little bit before, but what would you say are some causes or issues that you are passionate about, whether you just recently became passionate about it or it's been something that you've been into for a while?
Um, my I feel like the thing that I'm really, really, really passionate about is especially lately with everything coming out, especially all these women coming forward, is I've always been like a really big advocate for like women, especially women who have been like abused. Because growing up, like I did grow up in a home where like my mom was abused, and I've witnessed domestic abuse, and like not only domestic abuse but like sexual abuse and all of the horrible things that women can experience. I've always been like a huge like advocate for that, because like I'm really, really passionate about it, to the point where it's like if I hear or like see anything about that stuff, I get really emotional about it.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things like I'm really, really passionate about. And like in the future, I definitely want to do something with my brand and my music to like, to like help those types of causes in the future.
Absolutely. That's actually a really it's a very it's a lot to unpack with that one, and it's unfortunate how many women have been a victim of sexual assault abuse, and men also who don't come
Yeah.
forward, and it's very sobering. As a mother, I'm always like
Yeah, it's
very
heartbreaking.
hyper aware of that. It is. It's very heartbreaking, and that a lot of times it happens to them so young and things like that, and their innocence taken from them. So, um, it's definitely something it's hard to talk about, but it's an important issue, and it's definitely one that I'm kind of I'm kind of happy that it's getting a little more attention, because I think at one point it was kind of being swept a little too much. It was being swept under the rug or
Yeah, yes.
dismissed like, oh, it's not a big deal, but it's a huge deal, and it affects the way they even grow up, how they, what type of child they were, and then it kind of creates what type of adult they become because of those experiences. And they're at a disadvantage, because they have to relearn what real love is and what real you know ties to people are, and consent and all these things
Yes.
I
Yes.
just they're being
Everything.
taught to learn
Yes.
later. So I definitely agree with you that that's a very big issue, and there are some organizations that are heavily involved in that, and I'll be excited to see which ones you start partnering with as get some more traction out here. But for sure, uh, I know locally too. There's some organizations that I could probably put you in contact with, so we can talk about that.
Yes. Because I would love to help out locally because I know, like in Vegas, I love my hometown, but I know especially in Vegas, there is a lot of like domestic abuse because we do live in a fast city, fast life. There's a lot of like things that go out, horrible things that go that horrible things that happen out here. Sorry, I forgot how
Yeah,
to talk for a second,
absolutely. Mhm.
but. So I feel like especially if I can help locally, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. I have a couple of contacts I can get you in contact with. But for sure, I remember when I first moved out here, they were talking about the abduction rate and how um,
Hmm.
children were being abducted at a really high rate in Vegas. And I was like, oh my goodness. So, and that was a few years ago when I first moved here. And I know that that's still going on, but
Yes,
that was
sex
really
trafficking is
prevalent,
crazy.
yeah, back then. So we definitely, like the sex trafficking and all that. It's good to be able to partner up, and try to get something going on to where we can put a stop to that, because it's so sobering that these children and these young people have to go through this. Um, I have one other question for you, and I pretty much ask all artists this that I invite on the show. Um, as far as your bucket list. Now, for those of you who are watching that just tuned in, thank you. I got a couple of waves here. Thanks, guys. So a bucket list, of course, is something someone creates. Like if they knew they had a little short amount of time to live, or something like that. They have before they kick the bucket is the saying, right? So, what would be one thing on your bucket list that you would like to accomplish? I know you probably have several, but if there was one thing that just kind of wakes you up every day, like I have to do that, what would that be?
Honestly, that's a good one because I mean, I have a lot of I have a lot of things that I definitely want to achieve. But other than like outside of like things that I want to achieve before I die, I guess the one thing that I really, really, really want to do before I die is I just want to go to Europe, being that's where my grandma's
Mhm.
from, and I just really want to explore like all of Europe though, like really explore, like go on like a long vacation and really immerse myself in the culture.
Absolutely, that sounds fun. You're just gonna backpack through Europe and just kind of get
Yeah,
lost, like eat, pray, love kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Um, yeah, that's definitely a cool bucket list item. I'd love to travel a little bit too. I actually would want to go to Africa, like
Hmm.
any part of Africa, and just kind of get lost and go to several different countries. But yeah, that
No, that would
sounds
probably be a
amazing.
great place to go
Um,
to. I would probably visit there too.
I just got passed a drink. My husband's amazing. Y'all didn't even see that. Iced coffee for the woman. Thank you, babe. Um, so this is our first time going on Instagram Live, so I think that's kind of where our audience is probably looking for me on Facebook or something, even though I said like 2 weeks that we'd be on Instagram. But I'm
Right.
hoping the next couple of times we do this, they'll start gravitating more to Instagram, because I do think this platform might be better for this, because When I was doing the interviews on Facebook Live, I couldn't do the split screen. Like I can see you, I can hear you. You know, this is actually I do think this platform's a little better. So we will definitely pub this on both social media so they can take a look at this interview. I actually appreciate you so much for doing this with me. I
Yeah,
know
thank you.
little bugs in the beginning. We're trying to work them out and everything. But I have enjoyed this interview with you. I really appreciate your time and your positive energy. You guys, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to just kind of plug yourself. Okay, so give your social media handles. You know your new singles that are out because you got a couple out right now. And so yeah, I'm gonna give you the floor.
Okay, so if you guys so kindly want to follow me, I would greatly appreciate it. You can follow my Instagram, which is at Sagrostilo. And my Twitter is also Sagrostilo. So it's everything should be under Sagrostilo. And if you also search Sagrostilo on Facebook, you'll be able to find my Facebook page. It's under Johanna Marie. Or you can add me or follow my personal page at Johanna Marie because I post like a lot of my music stuff on there as well. And you can follow my brand's IG page at Satin Bushi Cosmetics. And you can also find us on Facebook under the same handle at Satin Bougie Cosmetics. And I have 2 singles out right now. One is Thinking About You, and there's a video available on YouTube. You guys can search that up. It's under Johanna Marie, Thinking About You. And my newest single that I just came out with is called In My Bag, and it was produced by my homie Hot Wheels. So you guys can follow him as well if you guys need like beats and stuff. He's pretty awesome, and yeah.
All right, thank you. Sorry, give me 1 second. I am
Oh no,
losing
you're
my
good.
sound a little bit. Oh, what happened? Hold on. Okay. Well, you guys heard it here first, okay? I personally love your 2 songs that you sent me. Um, uh, In My Bag has been in my head all week.
Oh,
So, like,
thank you.
I loved it. I'm like, okay, like it's fresh. It's a really good sound. It's super catchy, and I mean, I hope people y'all go support that song, okay? Y'all go support Johanna Marie. Um, but yeah, so again, I really appreciate your time and coming on the show with me, girl, and working with all the technical stuff. And you guys, we had to do a virtual interview, because of COVID-19 and everything. I love having the in-person interaction, but I know that's not possible right now. So thank you guys for your
Right.
patience. And yeah, you guys go follow Johanna Marie right now. Sad Girl Stilo on Instagram, and she's Johanna Marie on Facebook. And yeah, just start showing the independent artists some love in Las Vegas. The mainstream artists, they got enough fans, right? There's enough to go around for us local artists. So yeah, so thanks again for tuning in, you guys. We will be reposting the video on all of our social media. So if you missed it, you'll be able to revisit it when you have some time. But once again, I am your hostess, B.AKApella. This was Chat with B. Thanks you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna end it if I can figure out how to do it. All right, there we go. And end.